The land stretches on forever, a vast, unbroken sea of grass under a sky so wide it seems to hold the whole world. Here, on the boundless steppes of Central Asia, the wind is the true ruler. It speaks in long, low whispers through the feather grass, bending it in silvery waves that ripple towards the distant hazy mountains. Wild horses, their manes tangled and free, thunder across the plains. Their hooves beat a rhythm of pure, unbridled liberty. They are part of this landscape, as wild and untamed as the eagles that circle high above, their sharp eyes scanning the immense emptiness below. One feels an almost spiritual connection to this place, a sense of timelessness and raw, natural power. This is a world of breathtaking beauty, where the silence is broken only by the call of a lone bird or the gentle rustle of unseen creatures in the tall grasses. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the scent of wild herbs and damp earth after a fleeting shower. In the evening, the sun bleeds across the horizon, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and purple, a spectacle of such profound magnificence it stills the soul. It is a land that promises freedom, a place where one's spirit should be able to soar as high as the eagles. But even here in this majestic wilderness, shadows cling to the edges of the light, hiding stories of lives that are anything but free. I traveled here, drawn by tales that felt like echoes from another time. Stories of traditions that persist in the quiet corners of the modern world. Traditions that can be both beautiful and brutal. The settlements are small, scattered like pebbles thrown across the green expanse. Yurts, the traditional felt homes of the nomads, stand in small clusters, their rounded shapes soft against the sharp lines of the landscape. Life here is tied to the seasons, to the herds of sheep and goats, and to customs that have been passed down through countless generations. It is a life of stark simplicity, but beneath the surface, a current of tension runs deep, a quiet struggle that is rarely spoken of aloud. It is in these isolated communities that the ancient practice of bride kidnapping, or still casts its long, dark shadow. It is a term that translates to grab and run, a chillingly simple description for an act that shatters lives with brutal efficiency. Young women, often targeted for their beauty, their spirit, or their perceived purity, are taken against their will. They are snatched from streets, from bus stops, even from their own homes, and forced into marriages they never chose. While some may view it as a romanticized tradition, for the women who endure it, it is a terrifying violation, a moment where their freedom is extinguished in an instant, their future stolen by the hands of strangers. If you found this story compelling and want to learn more about hidden lives and untold histories, please subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring these important stories to light. I met a woman named Altanai. Her name means golden moon, and it suited her. Even with the story she carried etched in the lines around her eyes, there was a quiet luminescence about her. We sat outside her family's yurt, the wind tugging gently at the scarf covering her dark, braided hair. She spoke in a low voice, her gaze fixed on the endless horizon, as if searching for a version of herself that was lost somewhere out there in the vastness. She was taken when she was just 19. "He saw me at a market," she whispered, her hands twisting a loose thread on her sleeve. "I didn't know him. His family said it was an honor. They said my beauty was a gift for their son." Her story unfolded not with anger, but with a profound, aching sadness. She described the confusion, the sheer terror of being bundled into a car, the world outside becoming a blur of green and blue. The journey felt like an eternity. When they arrived at his family's home, the older women were waiting. They were not cruel, she explained, but firm, their faces set with the conviction of tradition. They pleaded with her, cajoled her, and ultimately placed the white wedding scarf upon her head, a symbol of her acceptance, her surrender. To refuse, to step back over the threshold after spending a night there, would bring shame upon her and her family. She was trapped not by locked doors, but by the invisible walls of honor and duty. Beside the yurt, a small stream trickled over smooth gray stones, its gentle murmuring a constant soothing presence. It flowed freely, on its way to join a larger river, its path unimpeded. I watched it as Altinai spoke, struck by the cruel irony. The water was free to go where it pleased, yet she, a living, breathing woman with dreams of becoming a teacher, was bound to this small patch of land. She had wanted to see cities, to read books, to choose her own life. Instead, her world had shrunk to the size of this homestead, her days measured by the needs of a husband she had not chosen and a family she had not known. "Sometimes I watch the eagles," she confessed, her voice barely audible above the wind. "They fly so high. They can see everything. They can go anywhere." It was a simple observation, but it held the weight of her entire existence. The freedom of the natural world that surrounded her was a constant, taunting reminder of her own captivity. Her fear was no longer the sharp panic of the abduction, but a dull, persistent ache. It was the fear of her own daughters facing the same fate, the fear that this cycle, as old as the mountains, would never be broken. Her hope was a fragile thing, a quiet prayer carried on the same wind that whispered of freedom across the steppe. The stories are not always spoken aloud. They exist in the spaces between words, in the averted glances of young women when a strange car slows down, in the hushed warnings from mothers to their daughters. It is a collective anxiety that hangs in the air, as much a part of the atmosphere as the dust kicked up by passing herds. I heard fragments of these tales from others, each one a variation on the same devastating theme. A girl taken on her way home from university, her textbooks scattered on the roadside. Another whisked away from a village festival, her laughter turning to screams that were swallowed by the celebratory music. The details changed, but the outcome remained the same: a life irrevocably altered. These kidnappings are often planned with a chilling precision. The perpetrators, usually a group of young men, will observe a young woman for weeks, learning her routine, her movements. Her beauty is often the catalyst. It makes her a prize, a status symbol for a man and his family. The act itself is swift and brutal, a sudden rupture in the fabric of a normal day. Afterwards, the pressure to conform is immense. The kidnapper's female relatives play a crucial role, employing emotional manipulation and invoking the power of tradition to persuade the distraught woman to accept her fate. They speak of destiny, of honor, and of the shame that will befall her if she resists. This contrast between the wild, open freedom of the land and the claustrophobia of the women's experience is profoundly jarring. Outside, the world is immense and untamed. The wind howls with a primal energy, and the land offers no barriers, no fences, no walls. It is a landscape that embodies the very essence of liberty. Yet for these women, their world becomes a cage. It may be a cage without visible bars, one constructed of social expectation and cultural pressure, but it is a cage nonetheless. Their horizons, once as wide as the steppe itself, shrink to the confines of a single household. The psychological impact is devastating, a silent erosion of the self. The initial terror gives way to a complex mix of emotions: resignation, depression, and a deep-seated fear that lingers for years. Some women, I was told, learn to accept their new lives, finding a semblance of peace or even affection over time. But for many, the trauma remains a raw, open wound. They live as ghosts in their own lives, their spirits crushed, their dreams abandoned. Their voices become quiet echoes on the wind, unheard by the world outside their small, isolated communities, lost in the vastness of the plains. Further south, where the grasslands give way to a more arid, broken terrain, the stories take on a different but no less tragic form. Here, poverty is a relentless force, shaping lives with a brutal hand. The settlements huddle close to the slow-moving rivers, the only sources of life in a parched landscape. The water flows sluggishly, its surface reflecting the hard blue sky. It carries with it the quiet despair of the people who depend on it. In these communities, beauty can be less a gift and more a curse, attracting the wrong kind of attention and making a young woman a target for a different form of slavery. Here, it is not a suitor who snatches a girl for marriage, but traffickers who promise a better life. They arrive in shiny cars, their city clothes a stark contrast to the worn, traditional garments of the villagers. They speak of well-paying jobs in faraway towns, of opportunities to send money home and lift their families out of destitution. To a young woman whose life is one of hard labor and little hope, these promises sound like a miracle, For a beautiful girl, the offer is even more enticing. A career in modeling, in hospitality, in a world she has only ever seen in magazines or on a flickering television screen. The journey begins with hope. A girl named Zara shared her story, her voice flat and devoid of emotion, as if she were recounting a tale that happened to someone else. She was 17, and her family was struggling. "He said I was too beautiful to be working in the fields," she recalled. "He showed me pictures of a city, of bright lights and beautiful clothes. He promised my parents he would take care of me. The trust was easily given. He was charming, persuasive, and he offered a way out." The moment she got into his car and watched her small village disappear in the dust, she felt a thrill of excitement, a belief that her real life was about to begin. But the promise was a lie. The city was not a gateway to freedom but the entrance to a prison. Her documents were taken, her phone confiscated. The well-paying job was in a brothel, her beauty now a commodity to be sold. The suspense of her old life, the quiet hope for something better, was replaced by the stark, unending terror of her new reality. The vast open spaces of her homeland were a distant memory, replaced by cramped rooms and locked doors. The sound of the wind in the grass was gone, replaced by noise and cruelty. She was completely alone, a captive in a world she could not have imagined, her spirit shackled far more securely than any tradition could have managed. Despite the darkness that surrounds these stories, what I found was not a population of broken victims, but a quiet, formidable strength. It is a resilience born of enduring hardship, a spirit that refuses to be completely extinguished, even in the most desperate of circumstances. In Altanai, the golden moon of the steppes, I saw it in the way she lovingly taught her young daughter the names of the wildflowers. A small act of passing on beauty and knowledge, a defiance against the ugliness that had shaped her own life. She was planting seeds of hope in the next generation, nurturing a dream of a different future for her child. This strength is often quiet and internal. It is the silent refusal to forget who you once were, to hold on to the memory of your dreams even when they seem impossible. For Zara, trapped in the city, it was the songs of her village that she would hum under her breath. A tiny, private rebellion that kept a part of her soul alive. It was the image of the river by her home, a mental touchstone of a cleaner, freer existence. These small acts of memory are not just nostalgia, they are a lifeline, a way of preserving one's identity against a force that seeks to erase it entirely. They are a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. And slowly, things are beginning to change. The whispers are growing louder, becoming voices of protest. Local activists, many of them women who have survived these ordeals themselves, are working tirelessly to educate communities, to support victims, and to lobby for stronger laws and enforcement. They are fighting against centuries of tradition and the powerful grip of criminal networks, armed with little more than their courage and a fierce determination to protect the next generation of young women. Their work is dangerous and often thankless, but it is creating cracks in the walls of silence. The path to freedom is long, and it is paved with the stories of those who have suffered. But in the courage of Altinai, in the memory of Zara, and in the tireless work of the activists, there is a powerful and undeniable hope. It is a hope as vast and as resilient as the landscapes these women call home. The wind on the steppe still carries echoes of sorrow, and the river still reflects a quiet pain, but they also carry something new. The promise of a dawn when every woman will be as free as the eagle in the sky, her spirit unbound, her future her own. Their strength is the light that will, one day, banish the hidden shadows for good.